Everybody, welcome back to the Sunny Day Review. I'm Brian.
I'm Jillian.
Jillian, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So this is our second attempt at recording these episodes because OBS decided not to work at all on my laptop. So now I've moved over to a different computer, and I'm hoping that all the redundancies I've put in place to make sure everything works will actually provide a finished product. So a little nervous, but I'm excited.
So yeah, if we seem a little bit lower energy than normal potentially today, for the next, we're looking to re-record 3 different episodes today.
Yes.
That is why.
Yeah. We're gonna give it our all as much as we can. Jill, what are we covering in this episode?
So in this episode, we are going to be covering season 4, episodes 4 and 5, Fear Itself and Beer Bad.
Okay.
So one episode that I love and one episode that I don't care.
Yeah, similar feelings on that, but we're starting off with an episode that we both love. Fear Itself. So let's get into it.
All right. Fear Itself, Season 4, Episode 4, originally aired October 26, 1999, written by David Fury and directed by Tucker Gates. Now, this is one of their, Halloween episodes, and their Halloween episodes are generally pretty good. There's one in a later season that's not so good. But there was Season 2, Halloween, and then this Season 4, Fear Itself, are just phenomenal episodes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love Halloween-themed episodes of anything, and this is probably one that's gonna be in the rotation. It's gonna be right up there with the Halloween episodes of Community that I love to watch. And gosh, I don't know. It's just fun when established shows take a moment to embrace the holiday that they're airing around. And I always like to think of, they probably filmed these episodes, in August. And they all have to, dress up in costumes and do all the sets, Halloween and stuff. And that's always fun to me.
But, they're always in costume.
True.
They're always,
That's a really good point.
So, and the supernatural element is all throughout the show, where, other shows use Halloween to introduce a weird one episode supernatural element. They always do, so it probably doesn't feel all that different for them.
Do you have any Halloween episodes that you like to watch from other shows?
Oh man, Boy Meets World.
Of course, that is a classic one.
It is. It's so good. The episode, if you're looking for it, it's called "And Then There Was Sean." That's the actual episode title, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. We'll always remember how tall he was. One of the greatest lines ever.
Oh man. I could sing the song right now. That's John Adams' my song. That is definitely that's my number 2. Fear Itself is my number 1 Halloween episode of any show.
Fair enough.
Followed very closely by And Then There Was Sean of Boy Meets World, and then I'm just a massive Hocus Pocus fan.
Okay, yeah.
That's my and The Little Vampire with Jonathan Lipnicki. I don't do horror very well. I was not brought up on horror. Joss Whedon has a way of doing shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer are a fantastic example of how you can do a horror genre type show without having to be incredibly gory. And I don't do well with gore.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
The first time I tried, I could not get through the opening credits of Zombieland, which I realize is a comedy movie.
Right.
But it's very gory in the opening credits and gave me nightmares. So the next time I watched it, I have actually seen Zombieland. I had to watch it in the middle of the day with all the shades up, with a massive glare on the TV from the shades being open, the windows being open, while I was also playing video games. So I was only half paying attention to the movie so that I could easily look away. I did the same thing with Warm Bodies.
Hey, if you guys are interested in watching Jill react to a horror movie, check out when we watched Cabin in the Woods with Jenny, Alex, and Ben as well. That's on the channel. So I think that's on the main channel. That was a fun time.
That was a fun time. I think I spent most of it hiding behind a pillow.
Yeah, you and Jenny. We're not. Not
was
into
a fun
those
time,
spooks.
though.
Yeah, it was a good
I
time.
remember at one point I was like, something scary was happening. I'm like, all in favor of nope. And Jenny and I just both put our hands. It's like, nope. Just nope.
It was a good time. So yeah, if you're interested in that, watching Jill torture herself for your amusement,
Oh my god.
I'll leave a link in the description below to that video. Oh man,
Oh.
I definitely along those lines of like kind of cheesy Halloween stuff. The Halloween Town movies I love so much.
Oh, yep.
Like
Those were a good ones.
So classic and so fun.
The first two were great. The third one, when they recast Marnie.
Yeah, yeah.
I
We can move on. Yeah, Halloween and Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic Disney Channel movies back in the day. But yes, let's enough lollygagging. Let's get into Fear itself.
All right. So let's see. It's Halloween, obviously. The Scoobies are carving pumpkins in Xander's basement. Buffy is empathizing with the tragic life of a pumpkin in October due to her recent recent heartbreak over the situation with Parker.
Right.
And she's like sitting there playing with the pumpkin's guts that they just like carved out of the pumpkin. And she's like, think about it. You grew up your entire life carefully entwined with others. And then one day somebody comes over, they cut your ties to the people that you love. They bring you home, they cut you open and scoop your guts out.
Oh,
Like,
pretty gross with the, in her hands.
yeah.
I love jack-o'-lanterns. I do not love carving pumpkins.
No.
Just because the actual tearing the guts out is pretty gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
But the finished product, big fan.
Yeah. There are some that people do, like when people do like not actually cutting it, but like the layering so that the light shines through. Like some people do a fantastic job with that. I cannot do that.
Me either.
I remember one year we got a pumpkin when I was growing up, and it was so thick that we couldn't carve into it at all. My dad ended up taking a drill and just drilling a bunch of holes into it, and then we put little like like the little marbles. We put little marbles into the holes and put the candle inside, so it looked really pretty.
Yeah.
But it was. Yeah, just we all
it's
lost
not what
patience.
you wanted from it when you went and
Not
picked
quite.
the pumpkin. Yeah, understandable. But we're trying to get as we understand where Buffy's coming from.
Yeah.
Sad life of a pumpkin.
Yeah. Let's see. Oz and Willis are talking about attending a frat party on campus that they apparently kind of forgot to tell Xander about. So they kind of invite him after the fact. Well, not after the fact because the party hasn't happened yet, but yeah. So let's see. Buffy leaves and is walking home when a demon jumps out in front of her. She punches the demon in the face, only to discover that it's just a guy in a mask. The guy yells at her, asking her what's wrong with her. Can we all just agree that this was completely his fault?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like,
the guy's an asshole. Why'd you do that?
First off, it's not Halloween yet. Because the Halloween party is happening on Halloween. So this is like a couple days before Halloween. He's just running around downtown and scaring people.
Yeah.
It is.
And he has the audacity to be like, "What's your problem?"
I know. It is entirely his fault that he's running around doing this. She can't be held responsible that her fight or flight tends to go more toward the fight.
Right.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the next day, Willow is telling Buffy about all the cool new things she's been trying, like with her magic. I have Wicca-wise written in my notes, but I don't know if it would actually make sense to anybody besides like the two of us.
Right.
Oz joins the conversation and tells Buffy that he hopes that Buffy's not encouraging Willow because he just wants Willow to be safe, which is very sweet. Buffy tries to get out of going to the party because she says she has to patrol, but everybody knows that that's a lie. It was well established in the last Halloween episode that Halloween is typically a very like downtime for the demons, for the real demons of the world, because they just find it cheesy
and offensive.
Yeah.
People put it on their faces and running around collecting candy. It's rude.
Let's see. Buffy goes to see Giles, who is dressed in a sombrero and poncho. Such an iconic, like, still of the show.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, not something people would have today, but, unless it was like poking fun at like an old white dude being like, this is appropriate.
I just love that, like, he answers the door and she just kind of stares at him. Like, what?
I do appreciate that he's embracing the culture,
Oh, yeah.
you know? Because
Well,
I
because
love
apparently,
Halloween.
I don't think Halloween's, like, a big thing in the UK.
No, it's really like an American holiday, and that's it. Which is
Yeah.
sad. If you're an international viewer somehow or listener, you should just start celebrating Halloween, and maybe people start doing it around you too. You might be ostracized from your family and friend group. Also,
Well,
it's a risk. I think it's worth it though.
just make sure you organize with other people, because if you show up at their house dressed in a costume demanding candy and they have
Right.
no idea what you're doing, it might be kind of weird.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe. I was thinking maybe start off with like decorating your house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then you can be like, hey, next year I'll have candy if that's like in a not creepy way. If people want to come and get candy,
Yeah.
you got to ease into it.
Or even just start, like, do you remember, like, boograms?
Right.
Did you ever do that in your neighborhood?
I've never, no, I've never done that.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like, um, so you get booed.
Okay.
You print out, like, the little boo guy. It's a little ghost, and you color, like, you can have the kids, like, color him in,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go and you get, like, candy, and you leave it on a neighbor's doorstep, and,
Oh,
like,
okay.
you've been boogrammed. Now you have to do it to somebody else,
That's fun.
and it's kind of like a passing the torch
Mm-hmm.
type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fun when I was little.
Yeah. That sounds. When you said it, I was picturing whatever that website is where you take like pictures of people's faces and make them dance on. Have you seen that?
Oh, the Jib Jabs?
Yeah, that's what, for some reason you said boograms. My mind was like, yes, I know what that is. That's this. No, not even close.
Not quite. That's more like a holiday card thing, like an electronic
Yeah,
holiday card.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This is more like a gives you an excuse to have your small children badly ding dong ditch your neighbor's house and leave candy,
Right.
and
Very
then they
much
have to
so.
go do it to somebody else.
It's better than leaving like dog poop in a bag.
That's a prank.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't a prank.
No,
You're leaving candy.
it's the
Unless it's
opposite
like,
of ding dong ditch normally.
I mean, I guess it would be a prank if you did it to, like, a dentist's house.
Yeah, he wouldn't appreciate it.
Especially if he's one of those people who, like, hands out toothbrushes
Mm,
instead of candy.
like yeah, like Willy Wonka's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, made him burn all the candy. It's messed up.
You shouldn't burn plastic.
Oh. Anyways, we're getting off track.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun day. So let's see. Buffy goes to see Giles. He's trying to get into the Halloween spirit now that he's adopted his man of leisure lifestyle, and he doesn't really have a lot to do.
Big fan of this version of Giles.
Let's see. Anya visits Xander in the basement. She wants to know why he hasn't called her after she told him that she was over him.
Yeah, normal stuff.
I love the line from him. He's like, "Well, that's the funny thing about me. I tend to hear the words that people tell me and accept them at face value." And Anya says, "That's stupid." Xander goes, "I accept that."
Fair enough, Anya. Have him there.
Well, Anya just speaks what's on her mind. She doesn't have a filter,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, she doesn't really understand, like, social cues and yeah.
Nah, she's been out of the human game for too long.
Yeah. Let's see. Anya calls out how she doesn't understand why Xander is still friends with the rest of the Scoobies when he doesn't have much in common with them anymore. She's not trying to be hurtful. This is just one of her Anya doesn't really understand humans moments. Xander ends up inviting Anya to the frat party, but he tells her to get a scary costume.
Mm.
So
I'll come
ends up
back.
being fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. At the frat house, the frat brothers are decorating the house and setting pranks for the party. The house is set up as a haunted house that you need to get through to find the party upstairs. One of the frat brothers finds a weird symbol in a book to draw on the floor of the party space as a decoration. Oz swings by to help them with some sound system issues they're having and accidentally cuts his finger while stripping one of the wires. His blood falls on the symbols on the floor.
Yes. And of course, got to mention The frat brother who finds the symbol is Walter Jones, the original Black Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, he's the Mastodon, very cool childhood hero. In it for one line.
This show for one line.
In this show for one line, yeah. Obviously, he's a much bigger character in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
So that night, the team meet up at the frat party. Buffy is dressed as Little Red Riding Hood with a basket full of weapons, of course.
Of course. You gotta be prepared.
Xander comes up behind her. He's dressed in like a tuxedo, and she's like, "What are you dressed up as?" He's like, "I'm going for secret agent guy, like cool secret agent guy." And he says it's a little bit of insurance in case they get turned into their costumes again. He wants to be like, cool secret agent and get that. Yeah, basically James Bond.
Yeah.
And kind of get that, like, hopefully get that knowledge, like he got the military knowledge.
Right.
Buffy says you might end up cool waiter guy. And he's like, well, as long as I'm cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Willow is Joan of Arc because she identifies with her since she was almost burned at the stake back in Gingerbread from last season.
Right.
She says she's like, plus Joan of Arc had that really close relationship with God. And Oz shows up just wearing like his regular clothes, and somebody asks him, so Oz, what are you? And he opens like his outer shirt and he has a "Hi, my name is God" name tag on, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, fun couple costume.
Oh yeah. I mean, who's to say what God would wear or not wear? So I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah. He's like putting in the least amount of effort, but still like it's kind of a cool costume. And Xander's like, damn it, I should have done that. But it does stand to question though, if they got turned into their costumes, what kind of powers would Oz have?
Every power. He'd be able to do everything.
So cool. Let's see. So at the frat house, things are going crazy, as the weird symbol mixed with Oz's blood have used everyone's worst fears to have caused everyone's worst fears to manifest themselves. Xander becomes invisible to his friends. Willow loses control of her magic. Oz starts to change into a werewolf, even though it's not a full moon, and he's terrified of hurting someone. And Buffy loses all of her friends and can't get to them to save them. So the house like splits them all up.
Right.
So Anya, dressed as a bunny,
terrified.
Shows up, but like very quickly realizes she can't get into the house. The door is just gone. She looks up and sees like a girl like banging on a window, being like, help us, and then all of a sudden the window just disappears.
Right.
So let's see. She runs to Giles for help in rescuing the gang, and determines the only way into the frat house is with a chainsaw and cutting a new door.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly. I love it too because Giles has like a book, like a spell book. And like you think he's like, oh, we're going to have to create a new door through magic. And then he just whips out a chainsaw.
So we're going to have to create a door. How?
Yeah. So great.
That's my chainsaw impression. It's not very good.
It's good. I think people appreciate it.
Let's see. So the Scoobies eventually all end up on the top floor where the party was supposed to be. They are reunited and realize that the house has purposefully drawn them toward the room with the symbol on the ground. They find a book the frat brothers used for like drawing the symbol out of. And discover that the symbol is called the Mark of Gaknar, and it's used in a summoning spell to bring forth Gaknar. Gaknar feeds on fear, and the fears of everyone in the house are feeding it and help bringing it forth. The Scoobies are about to run when Giles, with the chainsaw, and Anya arrive. Giles says that says that they cannot allow Gaknar to come into being. He starts to read the book, and he says, the summoning spell of Gaknar can be shut down in one of two ways. Destroying the Mark of Gaknar. Buffy immediately, without waiting, walks over and punches a hole through the middle of the symbol.
Yeah, Buffy not going to mess around here. Just punches the floor.
No. Giles continues, is not one of them, and will in fact immediately bring forth the fear demon itself.
This is great.
Oh my god, there's like such like a big opening to it, and he looks like he's like coming up through the floor, and he's terrifying, and he's like really scary in the face, and I think it looks like he has like barbed wire wrapped around his head to some degree, and so Gaknar is brought forth. Fortunately for the Scoobies, it's about 3 inches tall.
It's one of the best like reveals. They shot him in a way to make it look like he was just enormous, and then they do like a pan out, and he's like a little squeaky voice, small demon.
So Xander looks at him and goes, "Big overture." Show. And Xander actually starts to taunt him, and Giles is like, "Xander, don't taunt the beer demon." Xander's like, "Why? Can he hurt me?" And Giles goes, "No, it's just tacky."
Oh man, but Buffy takes care of him, right?
Yep. So let's see. Buffy just kind of steps on him.
Yeah.
The easiest demon she's ever had to slay. She just
Pretty
straight
much
up stomps on him, and he's dead. So let's see. Back at Giles' house later, the gang is picking out on his candy. Buffy's sitting there going, "You know what? There is no problem that chocolate can't solve." And Willow goes, "I think I'm gonna puke." And Buffy goes, "Except that." Apparently not a lot of people came to his house, so he has a lot of candy left over.
Yeah, plus he got pulled away, right? So
True.
Wasn't able to give it out.
Let's see. Giles pulls one of his, like, bloody hell as he's sitting there reading the book with the Gaknar stuff in it. And he walks over to Buffy, he hands Buffy the book. He says, "I should have read the inscription under the picture." And Buffy's like, "Why? What does it say? What does it say?" He says, "Actual size." So the picture of Gaknar in the book is actual size for the demon.
So it's like a great like cap to this episode.
Yeah. And it turns out they had nothing to fear but fear itself.
Oh man. So Watcher Pass, and what is your rating?
So I gave it 9 stakes. I love this episode. It is so fun. I think it's great that we have like the little reveal about Anya's character and that she finds bunnies terrifying.
Yes.
And it's really telling into like, you know, the true fears of each of our characters, where we get to see them brave so often. We can kind of get to see like what is it that deep down they truly fear. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's hysterical. It's a good time. So I gave it 9 stakes.
I gave it. So I don't know if it's just my personal Halloween bias shining through, but also gave it a 9 because it's really fun. And
it's a good time.
It's going in the rotation, like I said.
Yes.
For my next Halloween, like, binge of
the fact that
episodes.
It wasn't already in your rotation, I'm a little ashamed.
I know. I think I just forgot. Like, it's one of those episodes where I like, which has happened a bunch of times, because I watched like Buffy, my main watch through was years ago, to where it's like, oh my god, yeah, this episode's so good. You know, like you don't realize it's just like locked away in the back of your memory. You remember all like the big plot points.
Yeah.
But then like the individual episodes, it's like, oh yeah.
Do you remember rocket launchers and the giant snake?
Yep, I remember that, you know, stabbing Angel to close the Hellmouth, like all that kind of stuff. But,
yeah.
Yeah, one-offs like this, while amazing, it's like, oh yeah, that was the thing too. You would think I would remember because of Power Rangers in it, but yeah. I
can't answer that.
All right, so what are we covering next?
All right, so the last episode, the last episode we're covering in this episode. Last episode we're covering in this video, here we go, is Beer Bad, which is season 4, episode 5.
Right. So do you want to give a little background as to why this episode exists?
Yeah. So apparently, from what I've been able to tell from the little research I've done on this, there was some sort of like drugs are bad, alcohol's bad, campaign going on around this time. And so like the anti-drug, anti-alcohol companies were encouraging shows to have kind of special episodes showing the dangers of drugs or alcohol or whatever. And they would either like give some sort of kickback to the show, or, you know, they would pay for the advertising space but not actually have an advertisement, so the shows can make more money by selling more advertisements because they'd consider the actual episode their advertisement. Right. I think it's like it's gotta be kind of the same campaign that you ended up with a very special episode of Seventh Heaven where one of Simon's friend's older sister was like in a gang all of a sudden.
Yeah, she was. I feel like there's just so many episodes like this of various, and they're always so silly and just like, I feel like there's like a common thing where it's like this character you've never heard of is now the main character's best friend, and they smoke pot.
Here's all the bad things that happen to them. Yep. Remember, kids, don't smoke pot.
Yeah, exactly. But we got beer, an anti-beer episode.
Yes, and it's no, we can get to that later. Just the reason that I don't like this. But so anyway, originally aired November 2nd, 1999, written by Tracy Forbes and directed by David Solomon. So yeah, let's see. Episode opens up with Buffy kicking some demon ass in a graveyard. She has music and sound effects straight out of a Street Fighter video game. Turns out the vampires have captured Parker. After slaying all the vampires, she rescues Parker and he apologizes for how he's treated her. He says he owes her his life. He asks her if she can ever forgive him. And just as she wakes up in class to find Parker flirting with another girl.
Ugh, Parker. Like, Parker.
So she's been daydreaming in their psychology class, which for some reason I never thought that Parker was a freshman. I always thought he was like a little bit older and just like to prey on freshman girls. So I don't know what he's doing in a freshman psychology class. Professor Walsh doesn't kind of strike me as the kind of person who would just let somebody like crash their class to flirt with one of the students. So I don't know. It just always seemed kind of weird to me. But anyway, so Professor Walsh is giving a lecture about Freudian psychology. She's talking about the id, the ego, and the superego, and how the id works solely out of the pleasure principle and just kind of wants what it wants without kind of a thought of consequence. So kind of, it's one of those things where it's like what they're learning in class is directly related to what's going on in the episode. Another reason why this is off, because Buffy didn't typically do that. Right. That's more of like a Boy Meets World type of thing.
Or you know, even Breaking Bad.
I never watched Breaking Bad.
Oh, well, like the first season, in the first episode, he's talking about how energy changes from one form to another, and kind of tracks like the whole, you know, his whole arc.
But yes, let's see. So yeah, going back to like the id and Buffy wanting to be back with Parker, even though it's obviously not the right choice, but for some reason she just like is kind of like fixated.
I don't get it. He's a jerk. He's a real monster.
Oh yeah, I understand. Like, I understand Buffy's kind of mentality. Because if you've ever been broken up with by someone, if you were the dumpy, not the dumper, like having that like pining almost, like I get it. So let's see. The next day, Xander joins Willow and Buffy on campus to announce that he's gotten a job as a bartender at a local bar. He is 18. Yeah. I don't understand how this was legal.
Nope. Don't understand it at all. The bar clearly doesn't care.
No. So let's see. Buffy visits Xander at work, at the bar, running into Riley in the process. She's later approached by a couple of upperclassmen guys who compliment her and offer to buy her a drink.
Yep. Including Calpet from Harold and Kumar. And
House. Oh, yep. Yep. Oh, right. This is where we had that conversation about him and House.
Yep. We don't need to take it on a tangent.
No.
No.
So let's see. Willow and Oz are hanging out at the Bronze, and Oz starts to feel something really weird. Turns out Veruca, a girl we've seen in passing a few times, has a band and is performing at the Bronze. Oz is transfixed by her music, and Willow notices. The next morning, Willow and Buffy are talking, but Buffy doesn't seem herself. She's talking in very short and simplistic sentences. Buffy starts talking about her night drinking with the guys, but since she's talking kind of weird, Willow misunderstands and thinks that she had a foursome.
Yeah, which is good for her. No judgments here, but it's kind of a lot.
Willow's just like, four guys? Buffy and Willow head to class, where Buffy can't control herself and steals a sandwich out of another student's hands in the middle of class. We're like, okay, I'm sorry. I feel like it's really rude to just sit there and eat a full sandwich in a class in college.
It's weird.
Like, I never did that. I don't remember seeing anyone ever do that. So, I don't know.
No.
Maybe the student was asking for it. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe schools that have giant lecture halls is different. I don't know.
But the lecture hall really isn't that big, though.
That's true, too.
There's, like, maybe 40 seats. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My college experience was much more like normal classrooms.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, did I ever have a big lecture class? I don't think so. Nope. So let's see. We find out the owner of the bar where Xander works is poisoning the beer with like a potion that turns the drinker into a caveman. Buffy returns to the bar with the guys from the night before, and they continue to drink. At one point, the four guys try to attack Xander, but he scares them off with fire from his lighter.
Oh, man.
So they've gone full caveman.
Yes, just completely transported back in time.
Yeah. And, like, even, like, the structure of their faces start to change, which
like
is
hair and
crazy.
Stuff.
Yeah. So let's see. Later, Willow confronts Parker in a coffee shop about the way that he treated Buffy. Parker asks Willow if he can explain his side of the story. He explains what happened with him and Buffy, saying that he's never really connected with anyone before, but he's enjoyed talking with Willow that night, and he really starts hitting on Willow. And Willow kind of, like, plays it off for a while, like she believes him. And he, like, you know, starts trying to get closer to her and is like, you know, we're really connected, and, you know, I think I might really like you, and blah, blah, blah. And Willow goes, just how gullible do you think I am?
Which is a great Willow moment. Like,
it's fantastic.
Because it is played like she's hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, yeah.
Going for it.
And it's really a great illustration of how much she has grown. Because if this was, like, season 1 Willow, this guy would have had her wrapped around his finger. But now, like, she has grown so much over the course of 3 seasons.
Right.
That, like, she saw all this coming, and she was playing into it for a while. And you see just that look on Parker's face when she's like, just how gullible do you think I am? And he, like, all of a sudden, he, like, sits up straight, and he's, like, kind of backs away from her. He's like, wait, I'm like, here. Usually this works.
Not with Willow. You finally met your match, Parker.
Yes. So yeah, so that's fantastic. The upperclassmen, who have now gone full caveman, break into the coffee shop with Willow and Parker, and with 2 girls that they have captured, and start to barricade themselves into the coffee shop for some reason. Right. They knock out Willow and Parker, and in the process of barricading the coffee shop, accidentally end up setting the whole place on fire.
It's worst case for the cavemen, because they're afraid of it.
Yes. Well, worst case for Willow and Parker, who are unconscious.
It's not great either.
No. Buffy ends up saving the day, rescuing Willow and Parker and the 2 girls who were captured, and the caveman guys. Yeah. Outside, Xander has locked the cavemen in an unlocked van. He just kind of found a van unlocked and, like, shoved the cavemen in there, and they're now trapped inside because they're cavemen and don't know how to open doors.
Xander definitely like epitome of like, well, this is not my problem. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Parker, who has now woken up and realized everything that happened, tries to apologize and thank Buffy for saving his life, to which she clubs him over the head with a branch.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
So she knocks him out again. I mean, there is the question of like how many times can you get knocked unconscious in the same night and still come out of it with like an okay brain?
Yeah. But him and Giles have brain damage for sure.
Oh yeah. But none of the games seem to have a problem with just leaving a knocked out Parker in the middle of the parking lot.
It's what he deserves.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I want him to be run over by a fire truck, but I'm just saying if it happened.
Yeah, who's to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it happened, I mean, the fire truck could probably get an ambulance over there pretty fast. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Maybe a broken leg will help his ego a little bit.
Maybe, or he'll just use that to get more sympathy from women.
Yeah, probably. Do that.
All right, so watch pass and your rating. Is that the end?
That is the end.
Right? Okay,
yeah.
Yeah. I've jumped the gun a few times in the history of the podcast, so I got to make sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if this episode has any like long-lasting like effects. I think they mention it, like they reference it a couple of times, but otherwise, and like the stuff with Parker, I really don't think it has like long-reaching ripples into the rest of the season. I gave it 6 steaks. This episode is not my cup of tea. It's very much a diverting from the regular structure of the show, the regular message of the show. Buffy is great because it's built on metaphors.
Right.
So usually the conflicts that are happening with like the demons and everything, you can tie it back to like a more relating to real life metaphor. Where this one is just like hit you in the face, don't drink beer.
Hit you over the head with a club almost.
Yeah.
You could say.
Yeah.
I think the funniest part of it is like they made this episode and then the government was like, no, we're not giving you the money for this.
They didn't even get the money for this one. So they completely diverted their storylines for an entire episode and didn't even get the kickback for it. So.
Yeah. Oh man. Hilarious. I give this a 5. It's not my favorite episode. It's definitely not an episode unless I'm doing a full rewatch that I will be rewatching.
Yeah.
So
it's not quite as bad as like Go Fish or I Robot. No. So I'm not going to give it like a super low rating, but it's not a great episode.
Go Fish is the worst episode of Buffy ever, in my opinion. I love iRobot Eugene just because it's so dumb. Especially the giant robot demon at the end. That's chef kiss amazing.
If you're not tapped in, you're not alive.
Yeah. All right. So Jill, anything you want to talk about before we get out of here for this episode?
So if you want to hit me up on Twitter, you can. I live tweeted through my watching of Something Blue. Or no, Up Through Pennies. Sorry. To be honest, the tweets weren't getting a whole lot of activity. I was really hoping that we could like open it up to some discussion or something. But so if you like my tweets, go over there, hit the like or subscribe or follow or whatever it is. I don't really know what it works. But I'm trying. So if you would like me to keep trying and keep learning, then go over there, hit the like, and maybe tweet me or something. I don't know. And maybe I'll continue doing that. But if it's not going to get any like engagement, I'm not. If it was taking me 90 minutes to cover a 45-minute episode between watching the episode, taking notes, and tweeting, so I'm not going to put in the extra work of the tweeting if nobody's going to be engaging over there.
Makes sense. Can't blame you there.
No. So hit me up on Twitter. You can also occasionally find me either playing along or in the comments over on Twitch at the Grasswalk UK channel. It's a bunch of really cool people just playing video games and mostly poking fun at each other. So it's a good time. It's fun to watch. So
check them out.
Go check them out and throw in the chat that I sent you over or something.
Yes. And you can follow me on Twitter at @thefakeBMARR, that's BMARR. You can follow the channel on Twitter at WGEverything, on Instagram at Where You Get Everything, on Twitch at twitch.tv/Where You Get Everything, and on TikTok. Search Wicked Good Everything. I got a TikTok that I got to shoot after we're done recording these episodes.
Oh, yeah?
Watch out for that.
Oh,
and,
boy.
By the time this comes out, hopefully it'll still be somewhat relevant to find it funny. Might not be. We'll see.
Well, this should come out next Friday, right?
Yeah.
From when
you
we're
know how
recording
fast
this?
stuff moves in culture these days.
True.
You got no time before everyone's on to the next thing. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. The Sunnydale Review is a Wicked Good Everything production. The fan art of Buffy was created by Fishbone Art. The logo was created by Tamar Kutab. The original intro and outro song was created by Alex Carl.